If not now, then when? If not you, then who? Namaskar, good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries present here. I'm your virtual host, Diksha Rena, and it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome all of you to ASEAN India High Level Conference on Renewable Energy, Experience and Innovations for Integrated Renewable Market, hosted by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, with the ASEAN Secretariat and organized by the ASEAN Center for Energy and the Energy and Resources Institute, TERI. As we all know, renewable energy is one of the 7 program areas of the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation. ASEAN has managed to achieve a 13.9% share of renewable energy in the ASEAN total primary energy supply in 2018. ASEAN focuses on accelerating energy transition and strengthening energy resilience through greater innovations and cooperation. Talking about India, India is currently implementing one of the largest renewable energy programs globally. India's Honorable Prime Minister recently called for connecting solar energy supply across borders with the mantra of One Sun, One World, One Grid. The vision behind this mantra is that the sun never sets. Ladies and gentlemen, today's conference envisages the participation of the ASEAN member countries and India with a view for defining cooperation programs and policies to scale up renewable energy deployment to achieve APAC targets in ASEAN countries. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's formally start with the conference. But before that, quick housekeeping instructions. I would request everyone, whosoever is not speaking, to please mute their lines to avoid any disturbances. The detailed bio notes of all our dignitaries, chairpersons, and speakers are available on the online resource center for your access. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive down straight in and start with the very first session of the day, which is the Ministerial session on renewable energy development in ASEAN countries. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure in inviting Honorable Shri Indu Shekhar Chaturvedi ji, Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, to please deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
So I said thank you. Honorable Shri Bhagwan Kuba, Minister of State in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. His Excellency Mr. Yu Ong Than O, Union Minister for Electricity and Energy, Myanmar. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and on my personal behalf, I greet and welcome you to this conference, this high-level conference on renewable energy, experience and innovations for integrated renewable markets. India and ASEAN have a long history of cooperation and collaboration. To commemorate our deep relationship, India is celebrating the year 2022 as the India-ASEAN Year of Friendship. Given the importance and urgency of the need of fighting climate change and the concomitant need of promoting renewable energy, it is befitting that this conference is the first event in this year of friendship. It is established that a country's integration with the rest of the world contributes to its prosperity. In fact, several influential economists have argued that a country's openness to trade and commerce with other countries is the most important determinant of its growth processes. There is a need to view international cooperation in renewable energy against this background, and particularly the cooperation between India and ASEAN. In other words, countries can expect to reap huge benefits through international cooperation in renewable energy. This is even truer because several renewable energy technologies, which hold great promise for the future, like hydrogen technologies, are at a nascent stage of development. Both India and ASEAN have shown leadership in renewable energy, not only by demonstrated action, but also by setting for themselves ambitious goals. A couple of months back, India achieved 150 gigawatt of installed renewable energy capacity. The country's non-fossil based installed electricity capacity today is 158 gigawatt, which is more than 40% of its total installed electricity capacity. In fact, as per our international commitments, we have had to achieve the target of 40% by 2030, but we have done it about 9 years in advance. Excuse me. Going forward, our Prime Minister recently announced ambitious goals at COP26, one of which is to achieve 500 gigawatt of installed electricity capacity by 2030 from non-fossil based sources. While these goals are challenging and will require hard work and innovative ways of tackling challenges, we are confident of achieving them. India's commitment to fighting climate change and promoting renewable energy is demonstrated in several other actions also. These include providing direct financial assistance to RE projects when in the initial years when RE costs were high, uh, putting in place contractual frameworks which minimize risks to both sides, mandating a share of RE that distribution companies must achieve at the minimum in their electricity mix, establishing a robust payment security mechanism for developers selling RE, and so on. India took the lead in establishment of the International Solar Alliance, and DG International Solar Alliance is present in this session amongst us. The country's approach for promoting RE has been citizen-centric. This is particularly demonstrated in its solar rooftop program and the massive program for solarizing agricultural pumps across the country. Our priorities for the years ahead include promoting the use of hydrogen, particularly to take care of the hard to abate sectors, shifting toward firm RE power through the use of storage, self-sufficiency in solar manufacturing, the One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative, and decentralized RE applications. Similarly, ASEAN is moving ahead toward creating a low carbon regional economy through the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation. It has committed to achieve a share of 23% of RE in its total primary energy supply and 35% in its installed electricity capacity by 2025. The ASEAN countries are already taking action in several important areas in this regard, including inter-country grid connectivity, energy efficiency and conservation, clean coal technologies, and so on. The multilateral power trading project involving Lao PDR, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore is a success story. The short point I want to make here is that all this shows that both sides have strengths which can be leveraged for mutual benefit through this cooperation. The topics for discussions in this conference cover a wide range of areas, including grid integration of RE, distributed RE innovations and applications, RE power project designing, and lessons from past experience. all, all these topics are important for promoting RE. I hope the ensuing discussions will result in identification of strengths of both sides that can be leveraged for mutual benefit, and also a concrete plan of action in this regard. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy had, in the year 2012, convened the first ASEAN India ministerial meeting, which resulted in the New Delhi Declaration on ASEAN India Cooperation in Renewable Energy. I am sure that this event will contribute substantially to taking the Delhi Declaration forward. Let me conclude by again warmly welcoming you to this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Chaturvedi, for setting fantastically the context for our conference. I will now take the honor to invite His Excellency Tun Lien, Secretary of State, Ministry of Mines and Energy, Cambodia, and ASEAN Chair, to please deliver the special address. Over to you, sir.
His Excellency Sri Bhagat Kuba, Minister of State in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer, Government of India. His Excellency Sri Indu Shekhar Chaturvedi, Secretary, Ministry of New Renewable Energy of India. Honorable Asian Minister, Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good afternoon. To begin, I would like to express my great pleasure and delight to deliver my remarks in a very special moment today, and I would like to convey my highly appreciation to the Ministry of New Renewable Energy and Ministry of External Affairs of India, as well as to the Energy and Resource Institute and the Asian Center for Energy for jointly hosting the first Asian India high-level conference on renewable energy and the same experience and innovation for integrated renewable market. Over the last decade, Asian India has established close and fruitful relationships, providing mutual benefit and contributing significantly bringing to socio-economic development for both regions. We are confident Asian-India relation will become even more important, crucial, and fruitful for both regions, especially in accelerating energy transition and renewable market. In this regard, Cambodia would also like to encourage India to continue providing assistance to ASEAN in the context of energy development together, especially by supporting the implementation of ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation 21-25 successfully. At present, the region energy mix is being driven by technology and environmental concern, as individual countries have been engaging and in transforming the country toward the more sustainable, reliable, and self-sufficient energy future. Therefore, ensuring energy security, accessibility, affordability, and sustainability at the national and regional level in ASEAN will be challenging. The need for energy, connectivity, and the integrated or renewables sources across ASEAN at the prominent issue given for growing energy demand in our region with our geographic, geological, and climatic diversity. This is why we see regional energy cooperation are crucial, where it is important to have unified goals and pursue them through unified action. Together, Asian member states can accelerate the transition to clean energy to ensure a more sustainable future. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, having the occasion, allow me to share with you about current status of energy development in Cambodia. By the end of 2020, Cambodia primary energy supply consists of 50.88% combined fossil oil, coal and oil, and remaining 49.12% combined of renewable sources, such as hydropower, solar, and biomass. In addition, based on the latest statistics 2021, the share of fossil fuel now is just about 42.66% in total installed capacity, while the remaining 57.34% came from renewable sources, including hydropower, solar, and biomass. Thus, given this progressive step, Cambodia has already contributed very high share of renewable energy in the primary energy supply as well as in the power generation mix. Cambodia remains committed to mitigating emission in fighting change of limiting global warming by 2050 to 1.5 degrees C. With this target, technology that could facilitate variable energy, renewable energy and maintain system stability are very crucial. And in the effort, Cambodia have been working closely with ADB to reinforce our transmission network capacity, stability, and piloting in the first unity-scale battery energy storage system to increase more variable renewable energy. So, even more important, we also have been updating our national energy efficiency policy and assessing the energy efficiency market potential by sector, and then identify investment pipeline, associated financing option, and growing business model for the market transformation. Given the impact from COVID-19, it is prompts us to urgently reconsider on the energy mix with the fossil fuel that we have to use in the future in order to meet the electricity demand. Ministry of Mines and Energy have cooperated with ADB to do a new power development plan, PDP, until 2040 for the purpose of increase the high penetration of clean energy in the power generation mix and secure the energy security and reliability of energy supply. Based on the new PDP, Ministry of Mines and Energy has committed not to develop any more of new coal-fired power plant. In addition, in the project that we already approved by the royal government since 2019 and switch to low carbon energy sources such as import natural gas, LNG, or hydrogen, and increase the utilization of renewable energy sources and other sources that would not affect to the environment, along with the preparation of energy efficiency policy in order to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. At the same time, Cambodia also has planned to innovate the existing previous fossil fuel power plant to be cleaner and greener by using technology such as clean coal technology and the carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, I would like to express my gratitude to Excellencies, ministers, and leaders of Asian member states and leaders of private sector for supporting this high-level conference. I wish the conference will be fruitful and successful, and also would like to wish all delegates good health and success in all endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, for the words of wisdom. And thank you for joining us live from Cambodia. I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Shri Bhagwant Khuba, Minister of State in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India, to please deliver the special address. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. ASEAN High-Level Conference on Renewable Energy. In this virtual conference, present by Sri Indu Shekhar Chaturvedi, Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, His Excellency Tan Lin, Secretary of State, Minister of Mines and Energy, Cambodia, Asean Chair, His Excellency Mr. Yu Ang Than Oo, Union Minister for Electricity and Energy, Myanmar, Excellencies, distinguished speakers and participants. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the ASEAN India High Level Conference on Renewable Energy. We are celebrating 30 years of very fruitful India-ASEAN relations, and 2022 has been rightly designated as the ASEAN India Friendship Year. Today's conference is an excellent opportunity for strengthening our relationship further and identifying ways in which India and ASEAN can work together to bring about sustainable development in the region and jointly promote transition towards clean energy. India's renewable energy program started in the early 1980s and has steadily progressed to 151 gigawatt of installed capacity. This has been made possible by strategic initiatives and interventions on part of the Government of India and committed support from private sector. Solar and offshore wind technologies have achieved grid parity. We are now set to tap offshore wind potential and scale up domestic solar manufacturing capabilities, recognizing that green hydrogen is a key to the decarbonization of hard-to-abate sectors. We are in the final stages of developing the National Hydrogen Mission, which will strongly focus on demand creation and sustainable ecosystem for manufacturing and supply. Excellencies, I would like to congratulate ASEAN for the development of ASEAN roadmap to congratulate sustainable development in the region. India has an effective network of public and private enterprises that have played a key role in facilitating large-scale development and development of renewables across the country. These enterprises can effectively support the energy transition plans in the ASEAN region through partnerships with their counterparts in ASEAN members countries. The experiences and lessons learned during our energy transition journey would be valuable for our partners in ASEAN region. Excellencies, several institutions in India are engaged in R&D to develop strategic and economically viable next generation renewable technology. This is an excellent time for India and ASEAN to promote joint research and development in the field of renewable technologies through our research institutions. A starting point could be a signing of memorandum of understanding between the National Institute of Solar Energy and the ASEAN Center for Energy for joint research and development in the field of solar energy and green hydrogen technologies. This option can be explored in one of the technical sessions planned during this conference. Several professionals from ASEAN region have also benefited from the training and capacity building courses offered by our institutions under the ITEC program. India is willing to expand the scale of capacity building programs for our partners from ASEAN. I am sure that over the course of this conference, the planned technical sessions would facilitate sharing of key priorities, experiences, and ambitions in the renewable energy sector and help us identify mutually beneficial ways to take India and ASEAN cooperation in the renewable energy sector forward. The conference would also be highly valuable for the global audience joining us and provide them key insights on our cooperation plans. That said, I would once again like to thank you all for joining us for this conference today. I look forward to the valuable insights arising out of it. Jai Hind.
Thank you, His Excellency. Moving on to the ASEAN country addresses, I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Dato Seri Setia, Dr. Awang Haji Matsoni bin Haji Muhammad Hussain, Minister of Energy, Brunei Darussalam, to please deliver the address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, Mr. R.K. Singh, Honorable Minister of Power and Minister of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from Brunei Darussalam. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Your Excellency, Mr. R.K. Singh, Honorable Minister of Power and Minister of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, for the kind invitation. It is indeed a privilege to be able to speak at the inaugural session of the ASEAN-India High-Level Conference on Renewable Energy to share Brunei Darussalam's endeavor in the energy transition, especially through renewable energy. It is unfortunate that we are unable to meet in person for this conference as the world continues to face the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. Nevertheless, I am pleased that we are able to gather, albeit virtually, to reaffirm the importance of the close cooperation between ASEAN and India, especially in our journey towards realizing the energy transition objectives. 2022 is indeed more meaningful for both ASEAN and India, as it has been designated as the ASEAN-India Friendship Year to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the ASEAN-India relations. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, energy, environment, and climate are global and current issues of interest to both ASEAN and India. As the global economy recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic, it is crucial to rethink how we produce and consume energy. Across Asia, countries are escalating efforts on energy security and energy transition. The energy sector is crucial to urgently address our shared long-term climate goals and commitment to reduce emissions through the transformation of the energy systems, which includes deploying renewables and increasing investments in advanced and cleaner energy technologies. It is encouraging to note that according to a report by the India Brand Equity Foundation, as of October 2021, India's renewable energy capacity stood at about 38% of the overall installed power capacity. Furthermore, last year alone, the renewable capacity derived from solar expanded by about 249% compared to the installations done in 2020, amounting to about 11.1 gigawatt. Meanwhile, based on the ASEAN Power Updates report produced by the ASEAN Center for Energy, 33.5% of ASEAN's power sector in 2020 is comprised of renewables, well in line with the regional target. This illustrates the tremendous progress made in both our markets in the deployment of renewables towards supporting energy transition. ASEAN as a region continues to remain steadfast in the energy transition agenda. During our chairmanship last year, ASEAN's aspirations in energy security and energy transition were reaffirmed by the ASEAN energy ministers through the adoption of the Bandar Sri Begawan Joint Declaration of the 39th MM on energy security and energy transition. Through this joint declaration, we articulated our commitment to increase the use of renewable energy and alternative energy sources while taking into consideration national circumstances in ensuring greater levels of energy security. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as a nation, Brunei Darussalam committed to a net zero target by 2050 during the COP26 to help address climate change. This commitment was built upon the Brunei National Climate Change Policy, which was launched in July 2020. Here we aim to accelerate our energy transition journey through the reduction of industrial emissions, increased use of renewable energy, and promote the use of electric vehicles. Under the BNCCP, we have announced a target of 30% renewable energy capacity in the energy mix by 2035. In the short term, we plan to achieve 100 megawatt by 2025 through a number of identified projects which are in the pipeline. This includes a recently advertised request for proposal for a 30 megawatt solar farm, which is expected to have its first power commissioning in 2023. Future solar projects would also include the utilization of floating solar photovoltaic coupled with battery storage systems. Apart from the existing, ongoing, and future solar farm projects, Brunei Darussalam also advocates small-scale and household systems in RE contribution by the introduction of a net metering program. Currently under the pilot phase, the program is slated for full rollout in the near term. Another initiative in the pipeline for Brunei Darussalam is the implementation of the Renewable Portfolio Standard. This initiative requires energy-intensive industries to have a certain proportion of their power consumption to be derived from renewable sources. The expected timeline will include to have a pilot study implemented before 2025. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Brunei Darussalam is also exploring other new and emerging clean technologies such as carbon capture, utilization, and storage. This technology is seen as vital in promoting a cleaner value chain in the energy sector and decarbonizing the region's emissions in a more sustainable and efficient manner. In this regard, we welcome information sharing, best practices, and technical assistance, in particular on the various economic models for CCUS, policy support, as well as in the deployment of CCUS in the oil and gas, power generation, and transportation sector. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, while we continue in making efforts in pursuit of the energy transition and energy security agenda domestically, I'm confident that through our strong collaboration, we can enhance the economies of scale and synergies to accelerate the growth of renewable energy technologies in our region. Multilateralism through continued dialogue and cooperation is vital towards realizing the transition to clean energy systems and ensuring long-term energy security and mitigating the impact of climate change. Indeed, platforms such as this can play an important role in fostering such cooperation as we move towards the new energy future together. We very much welcome the opportunity to explore the possible areas of cooperation such as research and development, deployment of renewable energy technology and large-scale battery storage systems, clean energy financing policy, and the exchange of knowledge and best practices, especially in innovations for integrated renewables market so as to advance our energy transition and energy security agenda. I would like to conclude by congratulating the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and the Ministry of External Affairs India, the Energy and Resources Institute, and the ASEAN Center for Energy for organizing this meaningful event, and I wish everyone a productive conference. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, for the words of wisdom. I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Real, Secretary General, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Indonesia.
Thank you. Excellencies, Energy Minister of Asian member countries, distinguished speaker, participant, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to convey an apology that Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources of Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Arifin Tasrif, was unable to attend this prestigious event, and His Excellency expresses an appreciation to the Ministry of Power, New and Renewable Energy, and Ministry of External Affairs of India, who collaborates with the Energy and Resources Institute of India and Asian Center for Energy for arranging this high-level conference. Please allow me, on behalf of Minister of Arifin Tasrif, to participate this meeting to share about renewable energy development in Indonesia. Distinguished speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, nowadays, every country is putting its best effort in accelerating the transition to a low carbon future as stipulated in the Paris Agreement. The Asian region, with its enormous resources on clean and renewable energy, is no exception. Under ASEAN Plan of Action of Energy Cooperation, ASEAN has set a target of 23% renewable energy share in total primary energy supply and 35% renewable energy share in ASEAN installed power capacity by 2025, and furthermore toward a net zero emission. These targets will be easily met with a strong commitment from ASEAN members to jointly integrate strategies and initiatives on clean and renewable energy development. The first step that Indonesia has already done by endorsing a greener electric supply business plan 2021 and 2030, which stated that renewable energy power generation will be built by 20.6 gigawatt, or 51.6% of the total generating capacity of 40.6 gigawatt. Until the end of 2021, the total installed capacity of renewable energy power generation was 11.2 gigawatt, or increasing 6.2% compared to 2020. Indonesia has developed a roadmap towards net zero emission on energy sector, outlining the required efforts for massive renewable energy development, fossil fuel reduction, and clean technology application to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060 or sooner by international support. It is projected that by 2060, our electricity use will come entirely from renewable, with additional capacity 587 gigawatt, largely from solar power, followed by hydro, wind, bioenergy, geothermal, and ocean. Some big renewable energy projects are being developed, among others, such as Cirata floating solar PV for 145 megawatt, which is one of the largest floating solar PV in ASEAN, and Bali solar power plant for 50 megawatt, which is the first largest ground-mounted solar power plant in Indonesia. Furthermore, large-scale hydropower generation in North Kalimantan province, which also being developed, which is integrated with the development of green industries under Renewable Energy-Based Industry Development Program. This program will also be developed in other areas such as Papua, and hydropower plant is also expected to produce green hydrogen. Technology support is one of the prerequisites toward energy transition. It is not only to maintain and improve supply reliability and efficiency, but also to integrate renewable energy and anticipate the intermittent nature of renewable energy from solar and wind. Then we will also develop any kind of technology such as battery energy storage systems, pump storage, hydrogen, nuclear power plant, as well as smart grid. Indonesia will also develop a super grid to enhance connectivity as the new the new transmission between system and between islands are required for local energy resources sharing. The implementation of super grid will overcome the divergence between local renewable energy sources and high demand location. Moreover, it will reduce the intermittency impact of the increasingly VRE generation and will open up an opportunity to export electricity to other Asian countries as well as connected to Asian power grid. Indonesia is willing to support neighboring countries, especially Asian region, in meeting clean and renewable energy needs. Currently, we are already having cooperation with Singapore to export electricity from solar power. To support the development of renewable energy, we are also preparing presidential regulation on renewable energy tariff, which will be issued shortly. Additionally, the government issued the regulation of rooftop solar PV to regulate the implementation of net metering scheme as an incentive to people installing rooftop solar PV. Furthermore, the government has issued regulation on carbon economy. This regulation is expected to create a better business and investment climate, as well as to accelerate Indonesia emission reduction by providing innovative financing sources and supporting our policy on carbon tax, which will be implemented on limited basis to coal-fired power plant starting by April this year. In addition to that, our government also continues to improve investment climate in renewable energy sector by simplifying regulations, ease of licensing, and providing several incentives such as tax allowance and tax holiday. Distinguished speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude my speech, a strong commitment from ASEAN members and India to jointly integrate initiative on clean and renewable energy development is the solid foundation for a successful transition to a more sustainable future. Together, we must work hand in hand to create a better and cleaner and greener future for our young generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency, and thank you for joining us live from Indonesia. Moving on, I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Dr. Dawang Fonikio, Minister of Energy and Mines, Lao PDR. Can we have the video, please?
Good morning, Honorable Minister of Power and New and Renewable Energy, Honorable Ministers from ASEAN Member States, Honorable Secretary General, ASEAN Secretariat, the Energy and Resource Institute, ASEAN Center for Energy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and honor being invited to attend the ASEAN-India High-Level Conference on Renewable Energy through online platform under the theme Experience and Innovations for Integrated Renewable Market. In this regard, I would like to take the opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to the Government of India for the excellent arrangements made for this meeting. I believe that the meeting will show our affirmation among ASEAN and India to drive our energy sector to the same direction in enhancing clean energy development, realizing energy transitions not to any single country but the entire community for all. Ladies and gentlemen, with rising awareness of the impact of the climate change, countries around the world are taking environmental and sustainable measures to contribute to their energy mix. Also, ASEAN countries are now implementing the APAEC Phase 2 from 2021 to 2025, which includes the Directive on Energy Renewable to achieve aspirational target of 23% by 2025. This is a required effort of ASEAN to escalate renewable deployment. Therefore, today's meeting will give us the opportunity to share ideas and discuss how we can work together in continuing driving the clean energy and to enhance the scale-up renewable deployment, thereby advancing the energy transition towards a low-carbon, clean, secure, affordable and sustainable energy future for our region through strategic action in promoting and supporting the development of renewable energy sources. Honorable guests, the LAPDR has enormous clean renewable energy potential, particularly the development of hydropower as the key potential resource of the country. It can be harnessed roughly about 26,000 megawatt, and there are currently 89 clean power projects being developed, in which consist of 77 projects from hydropower power plant, 8 projects from solar, and other 4 projects from biomass, with a total installed capacity of about 9,100 megawatt. To emphasize significant developing those clean energy potential to contribute to sustainable and clean development, the Lao government has set an energy vision for 2030. Energy policies and 5 years development plans from 2021 to 2025. Recently, in late 2021, the National Assembly has adopted the Electricity Development Strategy from 2021 to 2030, includes various directives aiming to harness our potential natural resources of the country. The power generation mix should be dominated by hydropower generation source, accounting for about 75%, and 14% from coal thermal generation, and 11% from renewable energy sources, which has been up from 3%. We foresee the importance of electric vehicle development. It is remain priority initiative to achieve at least 1% in 2025 and to achieve over 30% by 2030. In connection to that, the infrastructure for the charging station to serve the implementation of EV cars are under assistance from various international donors. We look forward to support the increasing cleaner energy technologies deployment to achieve resilience, economic growth, energy security, energy supply diversity, sustainable ecosystem and innovation to a lower carbon future. To this end, on behalf of the Ministry of Energy and Mine from the Laopedia, I appreciate the Ministry of Power and the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, the Energy Resources Institute or TERI of India for organizing this important conference. I believe that this platform will provide fruitful discussion on shared technology, policy, and regulatory frameworks. Finally, I wish everyone happiness, healthiness, and stay safe from COVID-19 pandemic. I very much look forward to meet you all soon after the COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. Moving on, I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Mr. U Ong Tan O, Union Minister for Electricity and Energy, Myanmar. Over to you, sir.
Excellencies, Energy Transport, Excellencies, Honor for Power and Energy of India, President of ISA, ASEAN Secretariat, ASEAN Center of Energy, senior officers from ASEAN, India, DRI and ISA, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Inglava, a very good day to you all. It is my great pleasure and privilege to be here as one of the ASEAN energy ministers at this auspicious event of the ASEAN India High Level Conference on renewable energy. And I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Energy and Resources Institute, TRI of India, and ASEAN Center for Energy for your best efforts, and also to the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy of India for the supports to be having the events today during the global pandemic of COVID-19. As a whole of ASEAN, we are all trying to fulfill the RE strategy under APEC Phase 2, 2021 to 2025, to increase the component of RE to 23% by 2025 in the ASEAN total primary energy supply, TPES, and the 35% RE share in installed power capacity by 2025. And also, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to my colleagues from ASEAN member states for their accomplishments in 2021, that the RE target of the region sharing 13.5% in TPES and 28.7% in total installed power capacity as of 2019. Recently in Myanmar, 56% in generation mix, while hydropower takes 40%. Coal takes 3% and RE takes 1%. To refer the Sustainable Development Goal 7, Myanmar firmly targeted to achieve 100% electrification by 2030. Based on National Electricity Master Plan 2014, that generation capacity is targeted at 23.6 gigawatt by 2030, which constituted our resources balance at 38% hydropower, 33% coal, 20% natural gas, and 9% RE, such as solar and wind. In line with UNFCCC decision and Paris Agreement, Myanmar launched nationally determined contribution NDC for Climate Change Mitigation and Adaptation in August 2021. Then, as the policy's deliberation, Myanmar revised 2030 energy mix targets and extensively reduced the share of hydropower and coal. Conditional and unconditional targets have been set for which large-scale hydropower has to be reduced from 38% in BAU to 28% in unconditional and 31% in conditional targets. Coal will decrease from 33% in BAU to 20% in unconditional and 11% in conditional targets. Our share will increase from 9% in BAU to 11% in unconditional and 70% in conditional targets. As the consequence, to the installed capacity of 370 megawatt new solar projects with private sector investment is undergoing in 13 different places of Myanmar, and those projects can be increased our share in Myanmar generation mix. Recently, we are planning to call for international tender for new solar projects. Total capacity of nearly 390 megawatt in 3 different places at Naypyidaw area of Myanmar. Moreover, our ministry is encouraging for the development of floating solar projects and rooftop solar, small and medium-scale hydropower projects at feasible and potential regions in countrywide. In parallel, we are upgrading the existing Myanmar grid system to a smart grid system. On the other hand, we are considering on multi-research power trading projects with neighboring countries, Laos, Thailand, China, and India, to fulfill domestic and regional electricity demand. Myanmar, as the one of the ASEAN countries, I would like to reaffirm that we would render our best efforts in the building of foster closer cooperation on renewable energy development in India and ASEAN countries. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am wishing in good way to have a productive conference and discussion, and deliberation today will lay the further know-how and opportunities relating to the renewable energy and new renewable energy technologies which support the sustainable development of the regional energy security. Thanks you very much for your kind cooperation.
Thank you, His Excellency. I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Mr. Alfonso G. Susi, Secretary, Department of Energy, Philippines. Over to you, sir.
His Excellency, Datu Seri Setia Dr. Awang Haji Mat Sani bin Haji Hussein, Minister of Energy of Brunei Darussalam, our ASEAN Chair. His Excellency, Sri Raj Kumar Singh, Power and New and Renewable Energy Minister of India and President of the International Solar Alliance Assembly. His Excellency, Sri Dinesh Dayanand Jagdale, Joint Secretary of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy of India. Dr. Ajay Mathur, Director General of the Energy and Resources Institute of India. Fellow ASEAN energy ministers, industry experts, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to all. Before anything else, we at the Philippine Department of Energy would like to congratulate the Energy and Resources Institute of India and the ASEAN Center for Energy for organizing this high-level conference. I would also like to express my gratitude to Minister Singh for giving me the opportunity to participate in today's event. Our discussions are indeed timely. The reliability of renewable energy systems have emerged in the midst of the global health crisis, which in turn underscored the urgency of the energy transition. It will be my pleasure to share with you all the recent strides we have made to further enrich our country's renewable energy landscape, and I'm looking forward to hearing from India, as well as our fellow Asian neighbors, about your expertise and respective journeys in scaling up the deployment of renewables. The Philippines is a country that is hungry for power, and this has made energy security our topmost priority. However, the reality is we can no longer focus on energy security alone. We must actively ensure that the energy we source to meet our needs is sustainable, so we do not compromise the environmental and energy future of generations to come. Recognizing that renewables could fast-track the attainment of our goals of energy security, equity, and sustainability, the Department of Energy has proactively sought to launch policy mechanisms to help realize the full vision of our country's Renewable Energy Act, which was passed in 2008. From a national policy standpoint, we updated our Philippine Energy Plan for period 2018 to 2040. This plan is a comprehensive blueprint embodying our long-term collective vision, priorities, and strategies to bring transformative changes in the energy sector through the use of cleaner, more efficient, secure, and resilient energy systems. Our latest Philippine Energy Plan lays down a clean energy scenario, which sees the scaling up of renewable energy development and utilization, the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions to support our nationally determined contribution targets, the improvement of energy efficiency and conservation measures across various sectors, and the mainstreaming of alternative and emerging energy technologies. In our envisioned energy future, the country's power generation and energy mixes will shift from being oil and coal-centered to one where natural gas and other emerging clean energy technologies have increased shares. It is a future where clean and indigenous energy production would pave the way for socio-economic recovery and progress, a future where energy efficiency and conservation has been fully transformed into a national way of life, and one which will be characterized by a delicate balance among reliable and equitable energy services provision, economic growth, and the protection of the environment. I believe that we are moving in the right direction, with the Philippines consistently having the highest RE share in total primary energy supply, or TPES, from among the ASEAN countries. And looking at the Philippine current energy profile, our 2020 data also indicate that renewable energy was the principal source of our TPES at 34.2%, followed by coal at 30.8%, oil at 29.2%, and natural gas at 5.8%. Despite progress on these fronts, we are still seeking to increase investors' interest and participation in our RE sector. we have been working hard to level the playing field to make investing in the Philippine energy sector easier and more attractive. Towards this end, among our key initiatives include the Green Energy Option Program, where sustainable energy advocates could source their clean power requirements through the country's retail electricity supplier. The Green Energy Auction Program, which will support and facilitate the compliance of mandated participants to our renewable portfolio standard rules. It also provides an additional market for RE developers to accelerate the entry of renewables in our power industry and promote the competitive setting of rates for RE supply. The renewable energy market, established for the trading of RE certificates of mandated participants as part of their compliance to the Renewable Portfolio Standards rules. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the target date for our RE market commercial operation has been moved to the first quarter of this year. Our policy that would revitalize our geothermal energy sector by allowing for 100% foreign participation in large-scale geothermal projects under financial and technical assistance agreements. Indicators thus far continue to show much promise. In fact, last year, a report from HSBC Global Research ranked the Philippines as the second best investment destination for renewables in Southeast Asia. The report also projected that renewable in our country will be one of the cheapest sources of power, with levelized energy costs estimated to go down by 16% for solar and 22% for onshore wind by year 2025. I know that for all of us here, the immediate goal is to keep our citizens safe and to gradually roll out economic recovery programs. It is precisely at this time where we should unite as regional neighbors and integrate renewables into our immediate and long-term energy agendas. For our part, as we seek to provide secure, sustainable, and resilient energy for our people, we continue to align our domestic strategies with the aspirational goals of the ASEAN. Rather than reaching for our dreams alone, we want to succeed alongside each and every one of our neighbors. I'm confident that today's conference would bring us closer together through various opportunities for collaboration. The Philippines welcomes potential partnership, and we invite all of you to do energy business in our country. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat po, and mabuhay.
Thank you, His Excellency. I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency, Mr. Supathanapong Punmichao, Minister of Energy, Thailand.
Excellency, Energy Minister of ASEAN and India, Director General of Energy and Resources Institute, Executive Director of ASEAN Center of Energy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and sawadee krap. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Ministry of Energy of Thailand to attend the ASEAN-India High-Level Conference on renewable energy today. I would like to thank the government of India to organize this important event to explore a realistic renewable energy transition and to enhance our possibility cooperation in the region, to ensure sustainable, accessible, and affordable energy. And urgent actions for energy transition must be at the center of our policy implementation. For Thailand, we have set the targets to achieve carbon neutrality in 2050 and to reach net zero greenhouse gas emission in 2065. We are conducting the study on carbon neutrality roadmap to explore potentials and appropriate technology to meet decarbonization target under our National Energy Plan 2022. To achieve such ambitious goals, the proportion of our green and renewable energy for power generation will increase not less than 50% in the new power plant by 2040. At the same time, we will introduce the electric vehicle under our 30 at 30 policy for at least 30% of EV production in 2030. In addition, battery storage technology will be developed in the battery industry to reach a 40 gigawatt-hour gigafactory by 2030. On solar energy, Thailand has been installing around 2,700 megawatts of hydro-floating solar hybrid system on top of various hydropower reservoirs. For our strategy to support energy transition, we are also promoting renewable energy market and welcoming our investments, including appropriate green financing mechanism with newly advanced technology and innovation. This attempt will be supported by our biocircular green economy model, which will raise the proportion of renewable by utilizing local energy resources from agricultural waste. This biocircular green or BCG concept is the key themes of the APEC summit, which will be hosted by Thailand in November this year. We have launched an Energy for All policy through resource-oriented community power plant. This transition will not only enhance energy security, but also improve the well-being of the people. For example, we have promoted solar power water pumping and solar dryer dome to promote efficient and cost-effective, renewable and sustainable technology to conserve agricultural products in Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, under the plan of action of ASEAN India Partnership on Energy Cooperation, it also aims to promote energy security through regional power integration and the development of renewable and alternative energy sources, as well as promoting of clean energy technologies and energy efficiency. Therefore, under ASEAN India cooperation, I do believe we are on the right track and fostering our energy security and stability through accelerated investment in renewable energy for a low carbon future. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, His Excellency. I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Dr. Ajay Mathur, Director General, International Solar Alliance. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Shri R.K. Singh, Union Minister for Power and New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. Mr. Tun Lien, Secretary of State for Cambodia and the ASEAN Chair. Honorable Dato Sen Setia Dr. Awang Haji Mat Singh, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources from Brunei Darussalam. Mr. Punmi Chao, Minister for Energy from Thailand. Mr. Igo Siarial, Secretary General of the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources, Republic of Indonesia. Mr. Dawang Phonkyo, Ministry of Energy and Mines from the Lao PDR. U Ang Thang U, Union Minister for Electricity and Energy in Myanmar. Mr. Bhagwant Khuba, the Minister of New and Renewable Energy from India. Mr. Alfonso Cusi, Secretary of Energy of the Philippines. Mr. Indushekar Chaturvedi, Secretary MNRE from India. My colleagues from TERI and the ASEAN Center. Thank you very much for this opportunity and for this ability to speak to all of you today. We at the International Solar Alliance have been delighted at the huge progress in the addition of renewable energy that has been made over the past 5 years. The 50% growth in renewables in Vietnam, mainly through solar, 25% growth in Thailand through solar and bioenergy, Vietnam more than doubling its renewable energy production between 2016 and 2020 from 17 gigawatts to 35 gigawatts. Singapore, which is land scarce, increasing its renewable energy share by more than 50%, have all been objects of great importance. At the same time, we have also seen the phenomenal rise of renewable energy in India and the goals to enhance it even further, as announced by the Indian Prime Minister at the Glasgow meeting, where he talked of going to 500 gigawatts by 2030. It is also great that the 58th Ernst & Young Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index listed Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia amongst the world's top 40 markets in terms of their attractiveness of the renewable energy investment and deployment opportunities. Indonesia is a new entrant to the list due to its ambitious renewable energy targets and policies to retire diesel and coal power plants. We note that the ASEAN governments as a whole have raised and put out the ambitious sustainability plan in the second phase of the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation, which includes the 23% share of renewables in the primary energy supply, the 35% share of renewable electricity in the ASEAN installed power capacity. We believe that this would require 35 to 40 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity to be added by 2025. What this means is ambition. The various honorable ministers who have spoken of the ambitious goals that we have had. But the current momentum will need to be scaled up. We note that the South Asian region has numerous factors acting in its favor, which can help rapidly scale up deployment of solar energy. We see ASEAN as a powerful economic force, and by 2030, all the ASEAN countries collectively would become the world's 4th largest economy. This region is also very well placed in the tropics, with sunny days around the year, which could result in extremely low cost of energy, the lifetime cost of energy of well below $60 per megawatt hour by that time. You also have a very vibrant private sector, which is already present in the region, and this is one of the reasons why it is such a hotbed for attracting international investments. The well-established regional grid helps in enabling flow of electricity across the region. We also note that in many parts of ASEAN, the dense forest cover and islands provide a low-hanging fruit for mini-grid deployment and providing electricity supply to people who were otherwise deprived of this or getting it from expensive diesel-based gensets. We therefore look forward to meeting the regional challenges, whether they be challenges of a market which is still becoming large in size and mature, whether it is because of the fossil fuel growth that is at the margin increasing the amount of electricity supply, whether it is because of land constraints. All of these are areas in which solar energy we see can help in meeting your own goals. We look at solar parks and floating solar in Myanmar, at solar mini grids and solar rooftop and solar parks for Cambodia, which are the two countries which are part of the International Solar Alliance. We would very much like to invite the other ASEAN countries, Brunei, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam to join us in our efforts for using the sun to power the world of the future. We look forward to developing solar parks in the region for feeding the very strong interconnecting grid that the region has. We look forward to mini grids powering the archipelagos. We look forward to meeting the power demands of major industrial countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, the business districts of Singapore, Jakarta, and Manila with rooftop solar. We look forward to working with you in developing solar-powered e-mobility solutions for ecotourism in hotspots in Bali, the Cebu Islands, Phuket, and solar ferries in the Mekong Delta and the Halong Bay. We will work with you in also addressing the issues of solar PV and battery waste management. We also look forward, as has been mentioned earlier, to work with you on enabling solar electricity to flow from one end of the region to the other. And also when the sun has set in the Asean region to provide electricity, for example, from India through grid connectivity, the one sun, one world, one grid linkage between these large countries, that we look forward to ensuring that solar electricity is available at all times, even after the sun has set. On the other hand, the one sun, one world, one grid would also connect, for example, the market of India with the market of Middle East and North Africa, so that electricity from those countries can flow into India when the sun has set in India, and so on and on and on. We look forward to enabling these relationships, to enabling the production of solar atlases, of available technologies, and of the solar floating parks in areas in many countries in the region which are constrained for land area to continue in the future. Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted at this opportunity and look forward to continue to work with you to see how solar can further meet your energy needs, the energy needs of people who don't have access to electricity or have low access to electricity, for providing jobs, especially in regions where jobs are otherwise scarce, and in reducing pollution in urban areas. Through all of these, we can move to a better and a more sustainable world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency Dr. Ajay Mathur, for the insightful talk. With this, we move on to the next section of this session. I would now take the honor to invite His Excellency Shri Raj Kumar Singh, Minister of Power and New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, to please deliver the keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Excellencies, distinguished speakers and participants, I welcome you all to the Asean India High Level Conference on Renewable Energy. I am extremely delighted that we are beginning the Asean India Friendship Year 2022 with this conference, providing us with the opportunity to take forward our cooperation in the field of renewable energy. Renewable energy lies at the core of India's efforts to accelerate our energy transition. With the pandemic still creating ripples in the global economic architecture, it is imperative that we continue our dialogue to further accelerate sustainable energy transitions and strengthen global cooperation to promote clean energy solutions. Excellencies, in the past 7 years, since our government came to office, we have transformed the power sector in our country. We ensured universal energy access, connecting every village, every hamlet, and every home. We connected 28.3 million homes in just 18 months. This was the largest and fastest expansion of energy access anywhere in the world. We have transformed our country from power deficit to power surplus. We also have the fastest rate of growth of renewable energy. Our government came to office. We have transformed the power sector in our country. We ensured universal energy access, connecting every village, every hamlet, and every home. We connected 28.3 million homes in just 18 months. This was the largest and fastest expansion of energy access anywhere in the world. We have transformed our country from power deficit to power surplus. We also have the fastest rate of growth of renewable energy capacity in the world. In the past 7 years, our solar energy capacity has increased 17 times, and the total renewable energy capacity has increased 3 times. We had pledged in our NDCs in COP21 in Paris that by 2030, 40% of our established power generation capacity will come from non-fossil fuels. We have already achieved this target in November 21, a full 9 years before the target date. Our government is undertaking numerous schemes and initiatives to accelerate the transition to renewable energy. We are developing solar parks, hybrid renewable energy projects, offshore wind, green energy corridors, and we also propose to launch a national hydrogen energy mission, amongst several other initiatives. We have citizen-centric schemes like the Prime Minister Kusum Yojana and the rooftop solar program. Under the Prime Minister Kusum Yojana, we propose to energize with solar energy every pumping set in the agriculture sector. We propose to have a rooftop on every home. We propose to turn our consumers into prosumers. We are committed to achieving 500 gigawatts of installed capacity from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030. We recognize ASEAN's aspirational renewable energy targets to derive 23% of its total primary energy supply from renewables by 2025. Both India and ASEAN will strengthen their strategic partnership by collaborating and cooperating to accelerate energy transitions in the region. This is our proposal. We also applaud ASEAN's efforts to achieve the development of an ASEAN power grid. India foresees opportunities to expand this grid integration beyond ASEAN
to the Indian subcontinent, in line with our Honorable Prime Minister's vision for One Sun, One World, One Grid, which is based on the concept that the sun never sets for the entire earth. India sees convergence and potential for ASEAN to participate in OSOWO, that is the One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative, and gain dual benefits of multilateral electricity trading and increasing the share of renewables in the region's electricity mix, ensuring clean energy which is affordable through international collaboration. The development of a roadmap and an institutional framework for the One Sun, One World, One Grid is underway. We will be reaching out to you so as to develop a partnership to put this in place so that we have interconnections between the Indian subcontinent and the ASEAN power grid. This will benefit both of us. The International Solar Alliance, launched by India with France, has become an example of positive global climate action through partnerships. 102 countries have already signed the framework agreement for the alliance. We welcome all ASEAN nations to become a part of this alliance and take forward the goal of steering energy transition at the regional levels. India has already become one of the most favored destinations for investments in renewables, attracting over $70 billion investments in the past 7 years. The renewable energy deployment plans for this decade are likely to generate business prospects to the tune of $20 billion per year. India and ASEAN have strong economic relations, and investments in the renewable energy sector could be the next milestone in our trade relations. Both India and ASEAN should explore the possibility of joint initiatives and cooperation in the development of manufacturing hubs that could cater to the international market. We can work together to develop an entire ecosystem that promotes knowledge sharing, capacity building, and technical assistance. Excellencies, I would also like to congratulate Indonesia for taking over the presidency of the G20 in 2022. I am sure that the Indonesian presidency will further concretize ASEAN's role in global energy transition. India looks forward to working closely with the Indonesian G20 presidency on facilitating as well as accelerating the global energy transition. Excellencies, India and ASEAN can navigate the road to achieving low carbon development and accelerate energy transitions through well-planned programs on solar energy, wind energy, and grid integration. With an ambitious renewable energy share to achieve, ASEAN and India could collaborate, share, and work together to establish a strong relationship on the foundation of our common historical and cultural ties which bind us. Our mutually shared cultural ethos should be the bedrock for steering sustainable energy transitions to bring peace, prosperity, security, and stability to the ASEAN region. Excellencies, I wish to thank you and welcome you again to this conference.
Thank you, His Excellency, for the motivating words of wisdom. I would now take the honor to invite Dr. Vibha Dhawan, Director General, the Energy and Resources Institute, Terry, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much. His Excellency Shri Rajkumar Singh Ji, Minister for Power and New and Renewable Energy, His Excellency Shri Bhagwant Kuba, Minister of State in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India. Excellencies, distinguished guests, chairpersons, speakers, and participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to sum up the proceedings and propose the vote of thanks for the inaugural session of Asean India High-Level Conference on Renewable Energy, Experience and Innovations for Integrated Renewable Market. The welcome address by Shri Indu Shekhar Chaturvedi, Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, set the tone for the conference. It was a very inspiring talk, and I'm sure all the participants will be benefited the words of wisdom that were delivered by him. Thank you, sir, for all your leadership and rich contributions. The conference theme, Experience and Innovations for Integrated Renewables Market, is the most appropriate one in this age of increasing threat from climate change, and the role renewables are going to play is extremely important for transition amongst the nations. India, with its decade of experience in developing energy markets for social uplifting and then scaling it up for large-scale grid integrated projects in the short time of little over a decade, can come handy for the Asian nations to achieve their aspirational target of 23% share of RE in total primary energy supply and 35% share of RE in Asean installed power capacity by 2025. I'm proud to say that TERI has contributed to this partnership through installation of biomass gasifiers in Myanmar, Cambodia, Thailand, and other countries. These projects were supported by Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and UNIDO. TERI has also trained more than 700 participants from various Asian countries over the last few years through ITEC, that is one of the most successful international training program of Ministry of External Affairs. I take this opportunity to thank MNRE and MEA for their continued support to TERI and leadership of Government of India. The special address by His Excellency Tan Lin, Secretary of State, Ministry of Mine and Energy, Cambodia, who is also currently ASEAN Chair, covered the spirit of ASEAN countries. Thank you, sir, for making yourself available in spite of your tight schedule and guiding all of us. Let me take this opportunity to thank His Excellency Shri Bhagwan Kuba, Minister of Science in the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, Government of India, for gracing the occasion with his present and insightful address. We are really thankful to the large number of high-level participants who had spoken in this session. I won't name them individually because we are already late for the next session, but I would like to extend my special thanks and look forward to continuous cooperation with all of you. I'd like to thank His Excellency Shri Rajkumar Singh, Minister for Power and New and Renewable Energy, for hosting the event and setting the agenda for long-term cooperation in renewable energy and just transition between India and ASEAN member countries. It's very important, and I am a firm believer that with this kind of cooperation, we can achieve much more because our problems are more or less similar. Our socio-economic conditions are similar. The way our rural parts are, we have a lot to share. And we also need a lot to do in terms of capacity building, and this forum will provide a unique opportunity. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Ministry of External Affairs, and ASEAN Secretariat. I, on my personal behalf and on behalf of organizers, TERI and ASEAN Center of Energy, ACE, Would like to thank Ambassador Jian Thargode, Ambassador of India to ASEAN, and Mr. Dinesh Jagdale, Joint Secretary MNRE, for their team for their active support and guidance for organizing this event successfully. We are very happy. We have large number of registrations, and I'm sure that each one of you will be benefited by the deliberations which will now take place. In the end, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the chairpersons and distinguished speakers and participants for their support and contribution, and I wish the conference all the success. Thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vibha Dhawan, for the insightful vote of thanks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with this, we come to the end of the ministerial session.